Today I'm doing another long cross-country trip, this time to Des Moines, Iowa. It's about 1,000 miles, and along the way it's kind of the perfect time to share a couple of my favorite tips for how to do long cross-country trips. So join me in the cockpit. Oh wait, before you join me in the cockpit, I gotta get the plane out. So here we go. People often ask me whether I use checklists or not, and I absolutely do. So when we get to the run-up area, I'll show you what I do. We've got the camera up here rolling, so you'll see it on the screens, and we are ready in sequence. So we'll wait till we get into the run-up area before we actually do our run-up. It's just a polite thing for the neighbors behind us. And we are now number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in line. Wait till a couple more move out before I do my run-up. All right, we're going to go do our before takeoff checklist here since we're now in the run-up area. Doors are closed, caps handle coming out. Belts are set, AC is on but not recirc. Fuel quantity is full, starting off on my side, mixture rich. Boost pump on, flaps to 50. Transponder set to 1200. Autopilot, we'll check it with a level. And that looks good. Navs and radios are set. Over to the engine page. Up to 1700. There's 1700. More than 1700. Mag check, 1 click, back to both, 2 clicks, sounding good, back to both, landing light, ice light, pitot heat, electrical's all in the green, gauges are all in the green. We got 1 cylinder that's still waiting to warm up a little bit, but other than that, we are good, and that cylinder will be in the zone any second now, so I'll line up over here. And then back to the checklist. We just did all the engine stuff here. Flight instruments are free and correct. Trim is set for takeoff. And we are checklist complete. Back to the engine page. We're just waiting for that to turn green. It just turned green, so we are good to go. Spruce Creek traffic, Blue Cirrus taking active runway 24, departing to the west. Spruce Creek. I promised you a couple of my favorite tips for long cross-country flights. My first tip is don't file a flight plan. Doesn't mean plan your flight, because I know that might sound a little controversial, but I strongly suggest you plan your flight, but don't necessarily file a flight plan. And the reason is it's much faster to take off. If you wait for a flight plan and a clearance from Daytona here, it can add 20, 30 minutes to your trip. Other busy airspace that I have operated out of in the past have been similar. So I really enjoy just taking off VFR, and then if the weather doesn't cooperate and I do need an IFR flight plan, I'll certainly pick up an IFR, but if possible, I'll try to pick up that IFR in the air. Instead, I will, most of the time, fly VFR on a day like today, where the weather is beautiful, there's no need for an IFR flight plan. We will do our own navigation, and once we get up to cruise altitude, I will do kind of my second tip, and I'll tell you about that when we get there. As you can see, Daytona's Class Charlie airspace is rather long. I got another 10 miles here. Rather than coast along at 1,000 feet for 10 miles, I'm going to go ahead and call Daytona approach and try to pick up my flight following.
1004.
So let's see how busy they are. Before you call them, you got to know where you are. So I am 7 miles west of Daytona. Daytona approach, here it's 547 Tango Juliet.
Cirrus 547 Tango Juliet, same position, altitude request.
7 miles west of Daytona at 1,000. Request flight following to Tango Hotel Alpha.
547 Tango Juliet, what's your altitude?
1,000 now, requesting 10,500.
547 Tango Juliet, not seeing you here now, but just give me the request one more time. You said you wanted to go where, what's your aircraft type, and I got 10,500.
Cirrus SR22 at 1,000, request 10,500. We're going to Tullahoma, Tennessee. That's Tango Hotel Alpha.
Number 547 Tango Juliet, maintain VFR at or below 3,500 for now. Reset transponder, squawk 6203.
6203 at or below 3,500. 7 Tango Juliet. All right, so at least we can get a little bit of a climb.
144, 1,300.
So we'll do
an
an indicated airspeed climb at 120. We'll go mixture rich, full power.
Contact. Number 547 Tango Juliet, your radar contact 10 miles northwest of Daytona Beach Airport. Turn left heading 270, a short vector for your climb.
Left 270, 7 Tango Juliet.
7 Tango Juliet, amend the altitude, maintain 2,500 for now for traffic.
2,500, 7 Tango Juliet. Perhaps I
called
a little too early, but I could have maintained traffic separation.
Clock less than a mile, turning westbound to Cirrus, climbing at a 1,700 for 2,500.
963, roger.
Once I'm starting
547 Tango Juliet, climb maintain 3,500.
up to 3,500, 7 Tango Juliet. So if you call them when you're in busy airspace, you might get some routing like this. I could have maintained visual separation from all that traffic.
547 Tango Juliet, climb maintain 5,500.
5,500, 7 Tango Juliet.
Departure,
At least he's cooperating and giving me the climb.
Line 63, radar service terminated, squawk VFR, frequency change approved.
963, squawk VFR, frequency change approved.
Now you can hear in this airspace that this is a very busy airspace. Embry-Riddle's flight school is nearby, and at any given time there are dozens of Riddle planes around. And right now I'm heading right for their practice area, so I can see at least 6 or 7 planes in here. They're probably all students doing training flights right now.
Line 08, radar service terminated, squawk VFR, frequency change approved.
Squawk VFR, change approved, roger.
Number 547 Tango Juliet, traffic's 1 to 2 o'clock, about 2 miles northbound, 3,400 indicated. Once I get you behind them and above them, I'll get you on course.
Copy, and we have insight.
Number 7 Tango Juliet, you can proceed on course at this time. Contact Daytona 118.85.
118.85 and on course for 7 Tango Juliet. Daytona approach, Cirrus 547 Tango Juliet, climbing out of 4,300.
Air 547 Tango Juliet, Daytona approach, roger, you think it's climbing to 10.5?
55 now, request 10,500.
Number 7 Tango Juliet, roger, climb and maintain 9,500 for now, and what's your on course?
Up to 9,500, on course is 334.
Number 7 Tango Juliet, roger.
So this time I got flight following early on. Sometimes I usually wait till I get leveled out at my cruise altitude, then call for flight following. So my second favorite tip for a long cross country is to utilize flight following. Now, there's a couple of reasons to do flight following.
Air 547 Tango Juliet, contact Jacksonville approach on 121.3.
121.3, 7 Tango Juliet. Once you're on flight following, this is all there is to it. You just keep switching frequencies. They moved me from Daytona to Jacksonville. Later, they'll move me to Valdosta, then Atlanta, then elsewhere. That's it. You get handoff after handoff. So the first reason I like to do flight following is because it gives you a second set of eyes in terms of traffic avoidance. Now, candidly, I have all the traffic already on my screen, but it's nice to have a second set of eyes. Secondly, more importantly, when you're in touch with ATC, they know the status of every military airspace that you're about to go through, whether it's an MOA or a restricted area or anything else. So they will keep you out of trouble, and if you wanted to, you could even ask them if it's active. So the third and most important reason I like to use flight following is because if I have any kind of emergency, I've already established communication with ATC, and help is literally one click away. And so that, I think, is probably the most important reason to use flight following. Now, my third tip involves Foreflight. So Foreflight is a tool that I know many of you use, and I use it extensively myself. But I've recently gotten very good at using the layers of Foreflight to plan my flights. The way that I usually keep my Foreflight map configured is I show traffic, the TFRs, and the 100 low lead fuel prices along the way. That way, as I'm traveling on a long journey, I can usually put in the whole route and then just go look for green fuel prices and figure out where I want to stop accordingly. Now, the fuel price overlay is built into Foreflight. You don't have to do anything to put it there. The other really cool thing about Foreflight is that you can put in custom map layers like this one. This layer shows all the airport restaurants around the country. I can't take credit for creating this layer, but some guy in Florida created it and he actually maintains it. I'll put a link in the description below with his website address where you can get it yourself. And what it is a Google My Maps custom map. Now, Google Maps is also what I use to keep track of all the airports that I've landed in. But this guy has taken the time to actually plot out all of the airport restaurants. So between the fuel price overlay and the restaurant overlay, that's how I figure out where to stop on long cross countries. So that's my number 3 and my favorite tip for long cross country flights. So now, sit back and enjoy the rest of the flight. So now I'm just leveling cruise and listening to XM radio. You can't hear it for copyright reasons. I can't let you listen to it, but you can see I have the ability of seeing all the stations, what artist and what song is playing. So that makes it really handy in cruise flight.